Hello, everybody. We are live at the first NSNG Summit. Vinny?
Yeah, we're on. I didn't realize we were on. Okay.
We're on. We are on. We're going to start officially in just a second.
Serena for a second. She was telling me to move around, and I'm not sure I'm in the right spot, but here we are.
Yeah, Vinny, can you turn your mic even up a little bit? You could be a little louder.
Okay, how do I do that? Turn the mic up. Well, now you're asking for real stuff. Here.
I don't know. Well, if you can't do that, then just talk loud.
Okay, I'll just yell.
Yeah, just yell and get your hairy paw out of the camera.
No, I was trying to figure out how to turn it louder.
All right. Well, we'll have to deal. So good morning, everybody. Welcome. So nice to see you all here. We are very excited. As you know, we have been working on this for quite some time. This event is brought to you by NSNG Foods, which launches officially today. And we want to make sure, Vinny and I are going to do a big presentation on this tomorrow at the end of the day, but want to make sure that you all are aware of the coupon code so that you don't get too excited too early and go in and order and not get advantage of the coupon code. Pardon me, I don't know what's happening with my camera. It's going in and out, but you can still hear me. So the coupon code, if you go to nsngfoods.com, is SUMMIT, S-U-M-M-I-T, for what this is. And you'll get 20% off your first order from NSNG Foods. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Vinny and turn my camera off.
Andy, real quick question for you. Is that live now? They could go right now and get that 20% discount?
Yes, that is right now, nsngfoods.com. The site is live, and you can go there at any time. Just wanted to make sure. And we'll remind during the day what the coupon code is so that you don't go in and order and then find out later there's a coupon code and you go, oh, darn it.
Yeah. Okay, great.
All right. Take it away, Vinny.
Okay, folks, the way this is going to work, and the reason we're doing this, this is welcome. First, let me just say welcome to the first NSNG Summit. And as you can tell from the sign behind me, is being held today and tomorrow. Here's the thing. Why this and why now? It all started when my friend Robin Switzer, they do the big KetoCon every year over in Austin, Texas. And that got canceled. That wasn't the only show that got canceled. Every show around that show got canceled. And it was just, I felt bad because I really love going to those events and talking to people. And it's not so much what's happening on stage. It's kind of what's happening off stage where you're meeting these people. And it's almost like these little mini Woodstock type events where, everyone walks up and they do this. And if you've been to one of these things, if I'm over there, people will walk up and they'll just do this. And there'll be a picture of them on their phone of what they looked like before. And they're unrecognizable in every single time. They're completely unrecognizable. And sometimes there's some tears being shed and there's some, oh my God, you really helped me, or that Sean Baker really helped me, or I read Kate Shanahan's book and that really helped me out. And then I found you, or you found me, and just all this great stuff. And it always excites me. And it breaks my heart that we're going through this pandemic and we can't get together and do that. And then the reason I mentioned Robin Switzer is because when Robin's event, she had to cancel that event, and she did the smart thing. She got all the speakers or most of the speakers that would have been at the event, and got us all to record what we would have talked about at the event. And she put them up for people who had paid for the event so that they could feel like they got a piece of the event. And I thought that was a really great idea. Then I started yapping with Andy, and we started talking a bit. And I said, Ange, it would be great if people could interact, right? If people can, just like it's at a real event. if we can have the event, and then when Nina Teichels walks off stage, I've been at these events. Nina and I are trying to go for a glass of scotch or something. I got to wait for her to answer 1,000 questions. And that's what happens at all of these events, right? Sean Baker walks off of stage, he gets inundated with questions, and on and on and on. And everyone on the list, Ken Berry, Benjamin Bigman. So I said, wouldn't it be great if we could do a computer version of that? And the only way to do it is to do a live event. And that's what we're doing here today, a live event. This is how it's going to work. Each speaker is going to speak for approximately 40 minutes. And then after 40 minutes, and most of them, it's not going to be like me with just a still, photo behind me. But each person is going to have, a lot of them are doing their PowerPoints and everything else. So it's going to be like being at a live event. And then after 40 minutes, each person will open the floor for questions, and they can pick and choose the questions, and your question may be answered. And then we will take a 10-minute break, and you guys can run to the bathroom, do whatever you have to do, come back, and then we start another one. There will be a lunch break. I will give you the schedule for today, and then tomorrow I'll give you the schedule for tomorrow. But I'll do that right at the end. The other thing I'm going to do here is I'm not going to talk for the whole 40 minutes because I'm going to open up for your questions sooner than 40 minutes. So you guys can get a feeling as to how that works. So you guys can ask me what it's like wearing a conch shell or whatever else you like to ask. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the journey, this internet journey, not just for me, but for you and for all of us. I really feel like we're in 2020 right now, and this has been a long year. As someone was telling me the other day, can you believe it's 2020? This is the year that Kobe Bryant died. That seems like so long ago with everything that's happened since then in the world. And I don't need to tell you what it's like, but it's been a lot going on. But when you think back to 2011 is not when I put my book out, Fitness Confidential, but it's when I was writing my book. And I wrote it with a guy named Dean Laurie. Dean, you guys know, he used to come on a podcast a lot. He's a close friend. We wrote it together. I came up with all the notes. Dean and I sat there and put it together. And whenever we would write, we would put the word keto in the book, or ketogenic. And I would say, Dean, it's got to come out. That word's got to come out. We cannot use the word ketogenic. And he would say, why? That's exactly what you're talking about. This is what you've been doing with your clients in Hollywood for all these years. Why won't you put the term ketogenic in your book? And I said, because it's too inflammatory. And it's going to be misconstrued. People are going to think I'm talking about ketoacidosis, which is a medical condition in which you can be severely injured or die. But think about that. It's crazy now to think, the word keto is just synonymous with weight loss, is synonymous with crappy products. It's its own word. We don't even say ketogenic. We just shorten it to keto. And but when you think back, I wouldn't even put it in my book. So that should tell you something. I was scared. I was loath to put that word and made sure that it didn't appear. So you could go through my book again and look for it. It's not in there because I'm so scared at the time of the word and what it would mean. So Dean said to me, well, what do we call it, or what do we do? I said, we don't have to call it anything because I'm not offering a diet plan. You see, whenever someone does something, I've always said that, Dr. Kenneth Cooper, who's a great man, I've always said that he ruined it for everyone behind him. Now, what are you talking about? Kenneth Cooper is a great man. He took a word that existed in medical journals. It's an old Greek word. And if you don't know which word I'm talking about, it's the word aerobics. So Kenneth Cooper started saying we need to do aerobic exercise. Aerobic means with oxygen. And once he did that and he coined the phrase, he was able to make a lot of money. Now, he didn't invent the word aerobic. Like I said, it came from the Greeks, right? Aerobic, meaning with oxygen. Kenneth Cooper just said he put the word exercise behind it, aerobic exercise, which is different from anaerobic, which would be weightlifting or what have you. And he was able to capitalize on that. Once he did that, every fitness expert, and this was long before computers, long before anything else, everyone was trying to coin a phrase. How do you turn a phrase to make bazillions of dollars? That's what the industry became. I know this because I was in Hollywood for 30-something years, and you would be shocked at the meetings I would take over and over and over again. Oh, Vin, we're not selling steak here. We're selling sizzle. You're trying to make it work. It doesn't have to work. Can you come up with a word? Can you go look through a dictionary, go through all the Greek languages, try to find a word that sounds like aerobics or something that you can attach the word exercise to the back of, and you too can be the next Kenneth Cooper. And God only knows I tried. I did. I am not bigger than that. I went out there and tried to figure out words and phrases and everything else. But at the end of the day, I have a flaw in my brain. I can't lie to people. I just can't. I'm sorry. So for that reason, I could never. And Andy Schreiber, the guy who's my business partner, he will be the first to tell you, I can't be that guy that just goes out there and makes something up. It doesn't work for me. I can't just go lie to people and get them to buy a product. And that's why I never did anything. So when I wrote the book, back to the book, instead of trying to coin a phrase or do anything else, I simply said, don't eat sugar, don't eat grains. And if you do that, you will do really well in life. Now, I could tell you before I get into the schedule, Dr. Kate Shanahan is going to be the first person up right after my talk here. And she's coming on right at noontime. And she just wrote a great book where she says seed oils, and she's absolutely correct. But when you're trying to turn a phrase, you can't put no sugars, no grains, no seed oils, no trans fats, no. There's more things to it. But my feeling at the time and my feeling still today, and people have lost tens of thousands of pounds doing it, is if you cut out sugar, most packaged foods have a lot of sugar. And if you cut out grains, most packaged foods have a lot of grains in them. You cut out a major part of the problem. So anything that comes in a package is pretty much off your schedule, unless you just go eat plain table sugar. But let's just face it, that's just stupid. Not a good idea. So yeah, back in 2011, I was writing the book. In 2013, the book came out, and much to my surprise, people started buying it up. And I'm going to brag about that book for just a second. Fitness Confidential went right to the top of Amazon. It became one of their best sellers. I was told at the time, because, I'm always going, how do you know if you're doing well in life, right? And one of the things I was told was, hey, if your book sells 500 Audible copies, you've done well. Well, turns out that book didn't just sell a gazillion. I use the word gazillion when I don't know how many thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, but when it's a lot, I just say gazillion. Sorry, folks. It sold so well and still does today. That book still sells well on Audible, to the point where it was up for Audible Book of the Year by audible.com. And I was in pretty rare company with that book. I was up there with, you may have heard of her, Dolly Parton or someone like that. Neither one of us got Book of the Year, by the way. It was a third person who beat us both out. But it goes to show you that the world was ready for something like Fitness Confidential. And it encouraged me to continue on. Because let's face it, the only reason I started the podcast before I put the book out was because I was trying to sell a book. I can't sit here and lie to anyone and go, oh yeah, it was all, just virtuous on my part, But when I started that podcast, something else happened. I was finally able to do what Hollywood never wanted me to do, in the first place. Just tell the truth. And that's all the podcast was. I would get on with Anna Vocino, who, by the way, you will hear right after Kate Shanahan. You see how I'm kind of working all that in? She comes on at noontime, and she's going to do a whole cooking demonstration. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be sitting here enjoying a coffee as if I'm back at Anna's house with her cooking, because that's the way it used to be at the beginning of this podcast. I would go to her house. She had a studio. We would record, and we'd go in the kitchen. She'd make me an espresso, and then she'd open her fridge up and go, "Hey, Vin, why don't you try this?" Or, "Hey, Vin, why don't you try that?" And I just sat there and said, "Anna, you should be doing your own cooking show." And she's like, "Nah, I'm too busy with voiceover and acting, and I'm a comedian, and Kimmel's calling me every other night and everything else." And Anna, you need to, well, she did one better. She did cookbooks. And she'll be talking about those books today, Eat Happy and Eat Happy Too. But all of that came out of the fact that I was just trying to sell a book. That's it. I made no bones about it. This podcast is here to sell this book. What I did not expect the podcast to do was to go on for well over 1,600 shows. I think we're at 1,630 something shows at this point. It goes on 5 days a week. Anna Vocino is still my co-host on the Monday show. It's the most listened to show we do. She's written 2 cookbooks, Eat Happy and Eat Happy Too. She does these video blogs, or vlogs as they're being called, where she's teaching people how to cook. It's just a great industry that we've created out of nothing. The beauty is that somewhere around 2014 or 2015, you guys probably know better than me, Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew found me and invited me on to the Adam and Drew show. And, you know, it's like any other podcast you do. You go in and you go, okay, I'm going to do this. I'll be in here for a half an hour, and I'll be gone, and that'll be it. Well, that was a game changer for everything we're doing over at Fitness Confidential Podcast, and it was a game changer for my book and for NSNG, because Adam Carolla, after that one episode of Adam and Drew, invited me on to do the Adam Carolla show. Again, I thought it was a one and done, and I was just on the other day. I've never left the show. I used to be on twice a month. I've moved. I live across the country now. I'm on once a month, and that's perfect. But I feel part of the whole Carolla digital family. They've welcomed me in. I'm good friends with the Carollas, and Adam and Lynette are great people. Dr. Drew and his wife have become close friends. And some of the ancillary people around the show, Chris Laxamana and Gary and the whole gang. How Gary wasn't even married when he was producing the show, and now he's married, and he's got a beautiful daughter and the whole deal, and a beautiful wife, and just so much great has happened out of this show. The reason I even mention the Adam Carolla show is because it helped this show to grow so much more, and not just my show, but everything we're doing here. Right around the time I went into the Adam Carolla show, we started Pure Vitamin Club. We started Pure Coffee Club after that. And both of those companies allowed me to continue to be able to put this show out for free, the Fitness Confidential Podcast, without having the income from the vitamin company and the coffee company. There would be no free everything. Everyone goes, how do you do it for free? Why do you do it for free? Because it started off free, and I'm going to keep it free. The podcast is free. We do 5 a week. I have a PDF you could get at VinnieTortorich.com. It's 26 pages of how you lose weight, how you get rid of fatty liver disease, how you get rid of type 2 diabetes, how you get rid of A1Cs that have put you into type 2 diabetes. It's 26 pages of how to, and there's no BS and there's no cost to it. The reason I could keep giving that stuff away for free is because you guys have been so dutiful in supporting my other companies. So I thank you for that. The other reason I mentioned Adam Carolla is because the audience was able to grow from what that man so graciously did for us in this community to where I felt that we might be able to do a movie. And in 2019, that movie came out. Fat, a documentary, came out. Now, wow, me doing a documentary. First and foremost, I want to thank Peter Curtis Pardini. Without that guy, this movie would not look the way it did. It would not have been a #1 choice on iTunes, beating out Free Solo, which was the hottest movie in the country at the time. It went to #1 in several categories on Amazon because Amazon kept putting it in the wrong category. And then it went to #1 in documentaries when it finally made it there. Vimeo has done incredible there. And to my understanding, it's on 65 other VODs around the world. And it's on I don't want to say most major airlines, but most of the major airlines in some capacity carries it. And I'm talking as far as Malaysia and Canada and just everywhere else. It's on a lot of these airlines. I know Alaska has it now too, but that's an American company. Fata documentary allowed us to take this to a different level. What does that mean? People who wouldn't have ever found low carb. And I know if you're here today and you're watching this and we have a couple of thousand people who signed up, we think everybody knows what low carb is. But in a lot of ways, a lot of people think that we're still some weird, wacky community that's doing some kind of witchcraft trickery to lose weight. And in fact, it's not that at all. And I want people to understand that. And because of everything I said up until now, bragging about the book and bragging about, in the podcast getting bigger and bigger and the Adam Carolla show, is because all of that, all of those little building blocks allowed us to get to where we are today, right? To have the Nina Teichos and the Benjamin Bigmans and the Peter Ballerstats and the Dr. Linskys and Dr. Barry and all of these people who would say, yeah, I'm going to take some time on my weekend and come do this. The other thing that I've said it a few times before, but I haven't really announced it, is I have a second documentary coming out. And it's coming out soon. You might say, well, hang on, Vin, when did you shoot this? I used a lot of footage that I had already had. And we just, and by the way, this is not a second-rate film that we're doing. I could argue that Fat 2, we don't have an actual name for it, we're calling it Fat 2 right now, is going to be more well-received than Fat a Documentary. And you couldn't get a documentary more well-received than that movie. It changed a lot of minds. It got a lot of people moving in the right direction. But that being said, I have people talking long form. So if your family and friends are still saying, I don't know about, eating meat, cholesterol, eating butter, cholesterol, you want to watch Fat 2. Speaking of cholesterol, coming up tomorrow on this summit, you don't want to miss it. The great Ivor Cummins is going to be there tomorrow, and he was the guy that just debunked. He was the first one to really go out and debunk cholesterol, and cardiologists started taking note of that. So, looking forward to that. I'm going to fanboy out here for just a second, if you guys don't mind. Excuse me. I'm going to take a sip of water, if you know. But man, knowing that Anna is going to be cooking, Kate Shanahan's going to be on in a few minutes, Nina Teichos, Dr. Ballerstat, Peter Ballerstat, who's been on the show several times, he'll explain to you why cow farts aren't going to kill you. I'm fanboying out here, as they would say, fangirling, because I can't wait to sit here and watch. I'm not kidding. I have my coffee right here. I have a cup of Joe right here. I can't wait to watch Kate. Anytime these people are on my show, I just sit there and learn and take notes, by the way. I'm sitting, sometimes when you hear me going, mm-hmm, 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 yeah, yeah, what say you? Mm-hmm. Whenever you hear that, that's me taking notes. That's how much I learn from these people. They're just amazing. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, someone, I'm looking at the comments on the side. Someone goes, is that Pure Coffee Club? Of course it's Pure Coffee Club. Why would I drink anything else? I roast the best coffee in the world. Why do I think that? Well, because I guess I'm narcissistic and think my coffee is the best. But it's like a child. We all think our child is the best, right? I know, as a matter of fact, God, I gotta take a sip of this right now. I saved you guys the Slurpee sip that I normally do on the podcast, so I'm not going to do that because there might be people here who don't understand the Slurpee sip. I do a big slurp on the podcast, and it's become a joke over the years. Before we move on, there's something that's near and dear to my heart. I talk about this all the time, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit today. I kind of mentioned it in my book, and I mentioned it on the podcast from time to time. And I did bring it up on the Adam Carolla show the last time I was on. The fitness middle class. What does that mean? I've been saying from the beginning, we've lost our middle class of fitness. Here's what that means. You'll find people, and I've said this quite often. When I was in high school, if you were 6 foot and you weighed 220, you were the fat guy. Why do I know that? It was my best friend. His name was Phil. His name was Phil Callahan. He weighed about 220. He was the fat guy at 6 feet. In today's world, Phil would not be considered to have much of a problem, right? Because we've lost that fitness middle class. Where are we now? Well, now if you weigh 350 or 400 pounds, you're the equivalent of what Phil was in 1980, right? That's where we've come since 1980. It's only 40 years. 1980, Phil, 220, 6 foot tall, fat guy. Today, 6 foot tall, there's people. Scott King, I was just looking at one of his tweets earlier. The guy was 450 something pounds or even more than that. He said there was no scale that can measure him anymore. And the guy is a different person. I spoke to him on the phone last week. He weighs somewhere around 200 or 220. I'm paraphrasing here, but he's lost 2 whole people, right? So we have really, really, really fat people over here, right? We see your 600-pound life. I'm not making this up. There's a show called My 600-Pound Life. And we have that. And we don't have a little bit of it. We have a lot of it. And it's not those people's fault, right? Nobody wants to weigh 600 pounds. Nobody wants to weigh 350 or 400. And then on the other side, we have a different problem. Well, it's not a problem. We have people like myself who run ultras. My beautiful lady who's in the other room, Serena Scott Thomas. She goes out every morning. She ran 8 miles. This is her setback week. You know, she runs ultra marathons. And we have people doing Tough Mudders and triathlons and all. So over here we have 600-pound life. Over here we have people running through the Mojave Desert, and they're running 135 miles. And we don't have that middle anymore. Now, what happened to that middle? Where did it go? Well, yeah, we have the crazies like me that we exercise incessantly. And then we have the people who, well, they, in some cases, they do exercise, but as they gain more and more weight, exercise becomes more and more difficult, and they get deemed lazy, and they're not. These are not lazy people. They want to do better. They've just gotten into a mix where they've gained so much weight, and they don't know why they gained that weight, and society just goes, oh, fat and lazy. No, they're not fat and lazy. These are people who want to do better. Ask Mary, who I talked to him. She's coming up on my podcast either this weekend or next weekend. Mary, you know, she wasn't lazy. This woman smiles every day of her life. She just wanted to lose weight, right? She just had to lose weight. And when she found NSNG, she did it. These people would normally be in the middle class. Now, who are those middle class people? The example I like to use is Woodstock, 1969. If you go to Woodstock, any one of you right now, you're on your computer watching this, Google Woodstock 1969 and hit images and pull up any image. The swath of people you will see without a shirt on, you will think, you'll look around and go, wait a minute, were these people just doing abercise before they came on? Every one of them seems to have abs. How does that happen? Where did that come from? Well, people had abs in 1969. When I was a kid in the mid 1970s, people had abs. People just didn't have a coating of fat. There used to be a commercial on television. I can't remember what the ad was, but I think it was actually for a cereal company. I think it was Total. It said, if you could pinch an inch, you're too fat. That was the commercial. If you can pinch an inch, if you can just reach down and pinch an inch, too fat. That commercial was around close to 1975, 1980, somewhere in that, between 1975 and 1980. Pinch an inch. If you can pinch an inch, you need to eat Total, right? They were telling you to eat grains. They were telling you, hey, if you can pinch an inch, eat Total, then you'll be able to grab about 10 inches. But that was the ad. That's what we grew up with, right? Then all of a sudden we started getting heavier. People didn't look like they looked at Woodstock anymore. As a matter of fact, I tell people all the time, go to a marathon. You want to see people who are not lazy. These are people who trained for a marathon. They trained for a marathon. Yet, when they got to the starting line, they couldn't even look like a guy looked who was drugged out drinking a lot of beer at Woodstock. They still have weight to lose. Now, I get it. There's a guy from Kenya with legs up to the moon, and he's very lean. And that guy wins the race, and there's a couple of guys behind him that comes in second or third. But after the guys that come in the 3 hour and 50-minute mark, you'll see people crossing the line in under 4 hours, which is very impressive for a marathon. But guess what? Guess what? They're in shape, they're aerobically fit, but they couldn't run off the bad diet. Think about that. That's a real thing. I'm going to go to your questions in just a second. Before I do, this whole thing is brought to you by that company, UltraFat, NSNGfoods.com. NSNG Food. As a matter of fact, can you guys see my banner? Do I have that? Let me turn it up. There we go. Maybe you guys can see the whole thing. I'm not sure. I think you can. NSNG Foods. NSNG Foods. FOODS.com. You can go there right now. You can sign up. You can order the product. We have two products, and you see them right behind me. We have ultra-fat nut butters. Now, what is it? We used very natural almond butter. Very natural meaning it wasn't cooked in seed oils before they turned it into almond butter. So you're not getting any seed oils. So Kate Shanahan, don't worry, no seed oils in my product. We used raw almonds, and with that we added nut butter. We added coconut oil, not butter. We added coconut oil. We got the finest coconut oil we can get. We use that as our MCT oil because it works better than using a really refined MCT oil that can give you the squirts. This product is made for athletes. It was tested on athletes, including me. So you have a really great nut butter. You have great coconut oil. Now, how did I get it to taste good? If you go to any of these, this is the one thing I don't like about the community. Everyone's trying to figure out a snack to taste sweet. And the way they try to get these snacks to taste sweet is they try to add different kinds of sugar substitutes. The ones that come to mind is monk fruit, which is a sweet. Allulose, same problem. Erythritol is another. It's a sugar alcohol, and on and on and on. So everyone's, well, hey, this is keto. It's keto approved. This is keto certified. Guess what, folks? There is no keto company out there approving anything, period, at all. Nothing is keto approved, okay? keto certified. If you see that on the package, don't buy it. The only thing that's keto certified is a piece of steak, a piece of butter, period. I mean, there's no certification company certifying any of this stuff. So whenever you see allulose or erythritol or monk fruit and on and on and on, they're trying to make the product taste sweet. I didn't do that. I decided to go with savory. So what I did was I added my very own ultra salt to the product. So now you're not just getting a product that's giving you nutrition while you're out and about doing your thing, but now you're getting what I call the oil for your engine. And what does that mean? Think about it. You could put the fuel in the gas tank in your car. That's the gas. That's the fuel, right? That's the energy source. But if you don't put the oil in your engine, that engine is going to seize up. And that's exactly what electrolytes are. It's the oil in your engine. It causes your body not to seize up. And I do really mean seize up. You could get cramps, foot cramps, toe cramps. You could get calf cramps, what have you. You're out there running hard, hiking, biking, kayaking, whatever you're doing. If you're not getting the proper amount of electrolytes in and you're sweating them out, you will cramp up. You can just take this product and you're getting electrolytes every time you squeeze it into your mouth, along with good nutrition. You may notice I also have vanilla. It says right on the packaging, right behind me. I added some fresh vanilla to it because there's something about vanilla mixing with coconut oil and mixing with nut butter that somehow makes it just have this kind of sweet tasting flavor. So you get this combination of salty and sweet together. It's a great idea. Go check it out. I'm going to say one more thing about my nut butter. And what I want to say about it is this. We also have one that's got caffeine in it. So how's that caffeine put in? It's exactly like the first nut butter, except we actually add a gram of coffee to it. I take it down to a fine powder like a Turkish coffee. I use our very own honey processed coffee. It adds a nice coffee flavor. You get a little caffeine. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's my favorite. It gives me that little kick I need. It also has the electrolytes in it, and it's got a great coffee taste. By the way, I know that Dylan and Steffi and everybody over at the office with Andy, and I said, Andy, are we going to have any of this stuff to sell? They keep eating it. So, yeah, people just love eating this stuff as a snack. So you can order it this weekend. Go now, get it, do what you have to do. Before I start answering questions, I see a lot of questions are coming in. Here's how it's going to go. Right after I talk, I'm going to stop yapping in a few minutes. We're going to have Kate Shanahan up at noontime. Noontime, East Coast time, ET. Okay. Right after her, Anna Vocino at 1 o'clock, ET. So adjust. If you're in Central Time or you're in Pacific Time, adjust. If you're at Greenwich Mean Time, adjust by 6 hours. Then we're going to take a half an hour lunch break. After that, Dr. Bickman, Benjamin Bickman, you don't want to miss that, 2:30 ET is coming up. Right after Benjamin Bickman, one of my favorites, Nina Teichels, is coming up. By the way, when Bickman is up, ask him about the band Rush. He loves to talk about Rush. And then we're going to end the day with a guy that's going to explain how cow farts is not ruining the ozone layer. My buddy, my good friend, Dr. Peter Ballastat. He comes up at 4:30 East Coast time. So you want to check that out here. Okay. I'm just going to go at will here. I got to look to the side here. I see a bunch of questions coming in. If anyone has a question, Andy, you're back on. What's up? I can't hear you. Put your mic on, Ange. Mic is not on.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Now I can. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. No, I popped back in because I didn't think you would see. There are some people who have asked questions that I've got a whole list of them here, so I thought I would make it easy and run through them for you.
I love that idea. That way I don't have to read them. And Andy, I don't know if you know this, and maybe the guys in the band can correct it. Your mic is really loud. I don't know if anyone else hears that. But
I'll sit a little further away and I'll not talk as loud. How's that?
Yeah, there you go. Speak.
All right.
Speak softly. Don't speak.
All right, so I'll speak softly. All right, I'm going to read you some of these questions, okay?
All right.
This is from Rick, who wants to know, what do you think of Paul Saladino, MD, and his no veg, no seed nuts, etc., because all are essentially poison. And he says, thank you for changing his life.
Paul Saladino has been on the show. I'm a big fan of what he does. I'm okay with seeds. I'm not okay with seed oils, and you'll hear Kate Shanahan talking a lot about that. It'll be interesting to see what Kate's take is on no seeds. What else did he disagree with?
No, he just asked what you thought of Paul Saladino, MD, and his no veg and no seeds, nuts, etc.
Yeah, I'm okay with vegetables. I really am. As a matter of fact, I believe in eating cruciferous vegetables. Getting that amount of fiber in your system is fine. Look, people, and we're going to have Sean Baker on tomorrow, and Sean will be the first to tell you that you can live a very healthy life on just meat, on a carnivore diet. And I think Paul does pretty much the same thing. I've had him on the show, very smart guy. But I just disagree with the vegetable part. I do like to eat nuts, and I do like to eat cruciferous vegetables, and I do on a daily basis. The only time I eat any kind of salad is when Serena forces it on me, but she's figured out a way to make me eat it. As long as there's olives, pine nuts, and avocado in it, I'm eating all day long. So, yeah.
All right, and I apologize if we don't get to everybody's questions. We're going to try to get to as many as we can. Let's see. Kristen is asking. She's saying that her husband is 6'1", 165 pounds, and she can see his ribs. Is this normal?
Yeah. Well, I used to be 6 foot tall. Serena will tell you I'm 5'11" now, and she would be right. I'm 5'11" and a half. I'm hanging on to that a half. When I was a kid, I thought it was a bad thing to see my ribs because my grandmother was always chasing me around with some French bread going, I can see your ribs, eat this. So, yeah, if you can see his ribs, that's fine. I was just talking about that in my talk. If you go and look at the photos from Woodstock, 1969, you'll see a lot of ribs. People just didn't have a coat of fat, and we've gotten used to not seeing ribs anymore. Look at Johnny Weissmuller. Yeah, he had a lot of serratus muscles, but you can see the ribs. These were fine athletes. So nothing wrong with seeing some ribs.
All right, and I apologize for my screen going in and out. I'm going to switch to the laptop after this session because something's going on with my camera here. We have a question that says, I'm a skinny girl, but I got gestation diabetes. If doctor recommends a diet with grains, what should I say?
It's a medical question, and I'm never comfortable answering those. Like I said, we have a medical doctor coming up next. I would pose that question to Kate in the next segment.
All right.
So yeah, I'm going to have to leave that one alone.
Here's a very important question. Terry wants to know what flavor of your coffee, which brew are you drinking today?
Right now, I have the pea berry that you guys, you meaning Andy, just sent to me again. So I'm enjoying the pea berry right now. Explorer is part of the Explorer series.
All right. Lisa wants to know why peanuts are so inflammatory.
There's I can't think of what's in them. She caught me off guard, but there's something in peanuts. Oh God. It's one of those things that's slipping my mind. Again, that's a Kate Shanahan thing. She can easily answer, but that's why. There's something in them. And I can't think of the word right now. Nina Teichos can also tell you what that word is. So,
all right. Aaron wants to know if a product is made with expeller pressed seed oils, does that make any significant difference as far as the level of inflammation?
No, seed oils are seed oils. I mean, it's all bad.
All right. Here's another question, and I'll answer it for you. It says, are sunflower seeds like the brand Spitz okay to eat with seed oils being so bad?
No. Look, if you could get regular sunflower seeds that are raw, enjoy. The same with chia seeds or any other kind of seeds, it's fine. Pine nuts, all of that, it's all fine. But whenever they add salt to anything, going back to the peanuts also, whenever you start roasting any nuts, whenever they roast them and they add oil to them to get the salt or whatever they're putting on it to stick, that's where the problem comes in. They take something that was normally good and they make it bad.
Here's one that I'm going to answer, which is, what's your vision for how we use the ultra-fat, whether it's a snack, a workout, a quick meal, all of the above? This is coming from Robin, and the answer is all of the above. It's designed so that you can very easily tuck it in your pocket or your pouch or whatever you have when you're running or working out or hiking or cycling. But it's a great after workout snack. It's a great, even as dessert, because it does have, with the vanilla and the coconut, a slightly natural sweet flavor, even though there's no added sugar. It's actually only 1 gram of naturally occurring sugar per pouch. That's the extent of the carbohydrates, really. So the answer is all the above.
Andy, I want to say I want to thank David Fecky, who reminded me of the word aflatoxin. That's the inflammatory property that's in peanuts from quite before. And thank you, because I was trying to figure out what the word, I knew it was something toxin, and I couldn't pull that out. So maybe I should have a little more of my coffee. But thank you, David.
All right, here's another question that probably, I know you're going to say leave this to Dr. Kate. Does NSNG have positive effects, getting numbers in normal ranges, on hyperthyroidism and hypothyroidism?
I can say that yes, it does. I'm not offering this as a cure for either one of them. I'm not a doctor, and I can't give medical advice, according to my attorney, Scott J. Tepper. But yes, people have done really well by cutting out sugars and grains and just, lowering their carbohydrates overall to correct those situations. Again, that is not, I'm not giving you a prescription or a cure, but it's been shown to help.
Here's another one. Can you talk about getting back on track after falling off the wagon? That's from Selena.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that in my 40 minutes, but that 40 minutes went by so fast. A lot of people have gone off track because our schedules have changed so much over the past 4 months. And I get it. And I always say, it's like when you start doing NSNG or low carb or anything else, it takes 1 second. It happens like that. You don't have to, what's her name again, Ange?
Selena.
Don't wait until Monday. Don't go, well, I'm going to blow it out tomorrow and have pancakes and there's some ice cream left in the fridge. Do it right now. I say it in the movie. It's something I say to my clients all the time. There's no time better than right now to get started. And I really do mean that. You can change your life in an instant. You don't have to go set up, little things. Tell yourself, throwing that ice cream out. I'm getting rid of that cheesecake, and just throw it out. And by the way, if you think you're going to dig it out of the fridge and eat it, throw it out and pour some bleach on top of it or something like that where it's inedible. And then go out and go do yourself a favor and go buy something good. Go buy some good meat. Go buy some good vegetables. Go buy some good wholesome foods. Start over. That's all you have to do. Start over right now. I'll go do it.
Here's another question. Serena just pointed this out to me. I didn't see it here, so I can't say exactly what it is, but Serena texted me this. Teresa says that fat makes her insulin resistant. Can you address that?
No, I can't. Unless she's got some kind of underlying problem that's causing insulin resistance, or some doctor told her that. Again, I can't diagnose someone that. Let me put it to you this way: that is not common. What I'm hearing right now is not common. And if a doctor told you that, the first thing I would do is go get a second, third, and fourth opinion, because what I'm hearing is not common. Now, if you have some thyroid issue, or something else is going on that's causing something, that's way beyond my reach. But I would go get another opinion.
All right, then one very last question from Terry, who wants to know your take on eating roast beef from the deli. Should she say no to Arby's roast beef?
I don't know what Arby's. I ate at an Arby's once when I was in college. Once. Never went back. It did not taste, and we're talking 1981. It did not taste the way roast beef tasted when my mom or my grandmother made it. So there was no reason for me to go back to Arby's. I do know that these fast food companies, you know, the one thing I remember about Arby's is that they had an au jus that you put on top or whatever. I can't imagine that it's a natural au jus that you would make at home, like the ones the aforementioned Serena would make. This tasted like a chemical to me too. I would tend to tell you to get your roast beef from a store and carry it with you. You are not saving a lot of money by going to a fast food restaurant, and you're hurting your health.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for this session, Vinnie.
Okay, Andy, I want to say to everyone, thank you. Get ready. Kate is coming up in exactly 10 minutes from right now. I will be sitting here. I'm going to go freshen my coffee up. I'm going to be sitting here because whenever Kate talks, she and her husband, Jack, they're good friends. I love these people. And whenever she talks, you need to listen because she's figured out things. And look, she worked with the Lakers. Come on, the Lakers. That's not just any team. That's the Lakers. And she got their diet straight, and she really knows her stuff. So go check out Dr. Kate Shanahan in 9 minutes.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. We will be back right at noon Eastern time, 9 o'clock here on the West Coast. So we'll see you all shortly.